Hey hustlers, welcome back to another episode of Ingrid Project. The devil is a liar. Tell me why. I filmed like 5 videos just to realize that the camera had turned off and I wanted to go back. I was taking a little break. I went back to watch my videos and you could hear nothing. And that's okay because we're in hustle land. And what do? We keep on hustling. So on this episode, I would like to discuss with you my first investment property in Mexico as a pre-sale and why I would do it again and why I wouldn't. There's pros and cons to this story and I'd love to share with you my experience. So let's get into it. All right, so back yonder a few years ago, I decided to invest in my first property. Now, when I did this, it was a wonderful learning experience, but now that I'm a little bit more educated in the real estate space, I have learned even more. As you know from following me on Instagram at Ingrid_project, I am a real estate investor. Several years ago, working in corporate, I realized that that's not the life that I saw for myself long term, and I decided to begin investing in real estate to find financial freedom. I knew that the first thing I needed to do was, of course, save up for a down payment. So I was saving money. And I didn't know where I wanted to buy. I didn't know what I wanted to buy. I didn't even know how I wanted to buy. However, I had heard about pre-sales in Mexico. Let me tell you a little bit about that. The way pre-sales in Mexico work is that you will find either like any type of property. It can be a commercial building, an apartment, a condo, like condo hotel, a house or whatever. It's a development that hasn't happened yet. And what you do, you buy it at a discounted price. You put anywhere from 20 to 40% down, and then you have to wait somewhere between 2 to 5 years, depending on the project, for it to be finished being built. Now, when it's finished being built and you receive the deed to the property, you are required to pay the remaining balance on your property in full, cash. So this is not like a 15, 20, 30-year mortgage. It's different. Now, at the time, I was looking into pre-sale properties in Mexico, and I knew the market. I'd been looking for over a year, which it's important to do your research, understand the area, the growth, look up, the construction company, the developer, see what their success rate is, their delivery, is it on time, what are the reviews, all of that good stuff. Now, I was very knowledgeable about the market, and I did not have, for the type of pre-sales I was interested, I did not have the money yet. And so I just kept on looking at listings and keeping myself informed, which if right now you do not have the money to invest in real estate, at the very least, what you can do is to be prepared, because when preparation meets opportunity, that is when you have luck. So I just stayed in tune. Now I started following a few different listing agents. They sent out newsletters, and this one realtor in particular, she reached out to me on email and she said, "Ingrid, I noticed that you always look at my listings, but you never reach out. Are you interested in buying? What's going on?" And I really appreciated her boldness. And I went back and forth about replying to her, but I was like, you know what? Let me shoot my shot. Let me talk to this person. Let me make a connection. Let me ask some questions. Let me educate myself. And I told her, listen, I am interested in buying. However, I know that usually a down payment is between X amount and X amount. And right now I'm saving up. I foresee that I'll be able to purchase between 2 to 3 years. That's all I said. I just sent it. And she told me, well, how much money do you have? And I was like, And so I gave her the amount, and she told me, I have a few properties for you. Would you be interested in looking at them? And I was like, absolutely. Now, she sent me these properties. They were fantastic. There was one in particular that I really liked. Now, I looked her up, her credentials, the firm that she worked for, because you need to do all of this, especially if you're going to invest abroad. And she checked out. So without further ado, 2 days later, I was on a flight to Mexico. I went and looked at where this place was going to be built, all the details, and I signed over my life to this property. Now, that happened in the span of 4 days, but quote unquote, that overnight success, overnight purchase happened of years of preparation, and I didn't even know what I was going to spend my money on, but I went ahead and started saving that capital. Now, I am so glad that I did this for a few different reasons. One, at the time, I knew I wanted to invest in real estate. I didn't know where, I didn't know how. And here I had it basically on a silver platter. I had an investment that made sense and met my capital. I had a good team of people, and now I did all my research. I was well informed, and something that I learned this year that I'm glad that I had the head on my shoulders to look at it at the time was being convicted in my decision. I looked at it in many different avenues on, can I be okay with this purchase decision if the investment goes south? If they don't do well on the delivery, if it never makes me a dime, what if I lose my job? How am I gonna come up with the remaining balance for the the time that I have until a development is finished being built? I had a plan A, B, C, D, E. And something that I've learned in real estate is when you purchase, you always buy with an exit in mind, and you have to be convicted in your purchase also. So here's why I don't regret buying in Mexico. It gave me something to do with my capital that I didn't know what else to do with, and I wasn't educated enough at the time to make a different decision. Two, it gave me the confidence that I needed to invest in real estate. The most important thing that you will ever do in real estate, your business, your fitness journey, anything that you do is just get started. Take action, do something. Now, of course, do not make reckless decisions. If you're going to make a decision that's thousands of dollars like this one, yeah, probably would be good to sit down, talk to a few people, get some mentorship, whatever, but do something, take action. And I think something 3 and 4, these are kind of combined. It gave me the security of, even if this investment, let's say it never makes me a dime, it's not really like popular for a short-term rental, which by the way, short-term rentals are when you rent for a short amount of time, like you would on Airbnb or like booking.com, Expedia, and so on. I was like, I'm gonna have a place abroad that gives me options, especially in the volatile climate that we live in. I'm like, if I ever need to leave the States, if I ever lose my job and I can't pay my rent, or even if I just want to take a vacation, I have a place that I can stay at that's fully mine, all paid for, and I can enjoy it. At the worst case scenario, this becomes like some vacation home. And I am so glad I put into the numbers, how will I do this if I lose my job? Can I do this if I don't have my income coming in? How will I kind of like make the deficit? Because I did end up losing my job. If you follow me on Ingrid_project on Instagram, you saw that I got laid off from Meta. And this was in the year that I needed to finish making my payment. And I ended up taking all these odd jobs, working at a stadium, like restocking things, babysitting, working at an interpreter call center. Like I was doing the most so that I could make my payment. But I had all of this in mind when I purchased, on worst case scenario, best case scenario, everything as much as possible in the middle, and I was prepared and I made it happen. I did complete my final payment on time. I own the property now. Those are the reasons why I would say yes, 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 yes. Like rinse, repeat, do it. And also, this is the last one. There is no way I would know what I know now, or there's no way I would have been challenged to learn what I needed to learn now if I hadn't started in Mexico. So getting started is better than nothing at all. We learn along the way, we make mistakes, and that's part of the hustling journey. So on the other hand, what I would do differently, and what I've learned now that I do have the property and am investing in different states within the US, is this. When you decide to purchase a property abroad, usually you cannot take out equity on said property. What is taking out equity? Taking equity out is, for example, you buy a house that, just to make it in layman's terms, simple numbers, this house is $10. In 5 years, it's worth $50. You go back to the bank and reassess it, and instead of you doing like a refinance on your $10, you do $50 and you take $30 out. Now with those $30, you can buy 2 houses that cost $15 each. So now you have your $10 house, you have 2 $15 houses, now you have 3 houses, 1 of which you live in, and 2 that create you passive income via rent. That's what taking out equity is. That's how a lot of people scale or build more in real estate. Now, I knew about scaling in real estate at the time, but I didn't know that when you purchase abroad, you cannot take out equity. So even though right now my property is worth a lot more than when I bought it, since I also bought it at a discount, I can't take out equity on that property. The only way for me to reuse that asset would be to sell it and then to bring that cash stateside and then purchase something else. I have decided not to do that. I am retaining my property for as long as it makes sense, and I'm going to enjoy it. It is like cash flowing right now, and more than anything, it's been a learning opportunity for me from so many aspects. It's helped me build systems because it's something abroad, so I've had to learn about property management, building a boots on the ground team, like all of these things that are important, especially for someone like me who does not plan to invest in the state that they live in. So that's why I would not do it again. If I was starting over, I probably would invest in Mexico again, but I would do it as a third, fourth, fifth property, or when I'm just trying to move like some cash abroad. I wouldn't start off there, because what happened after was when I started looking to invest stateside, I've basically had to start right over again, like restart to raise all this capital on my own, or find people to loan me money and so on, so that I can purchase property here. So I leave you with those learnings. Take away from this what you will. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you invested abroad? Are you in the short-term rental game? Have you found other ways to scale? And yeah, what do you think about the Mexico market in general? Now, for privacy reasons, I'm not going to discuss what specific area of Mexico I invested in, but there are many profitable areas in Mexico and in other like tourist cities around the world, South America, Central America, you name it, where you can invest in these types of properties. So I'd love to hear what you think. Now, if you are interested in real estate, I suggest you follow my page on Ingrid_project on Instagram. Every single deal that I'm doing right now, whether I am just going underwriting or whether I pull out of an offer, whatever it may be, I am posting a reel discussing how much it costs, what the down payment was, what the rental cost is, and I'm just sharing a little bit more about my journey in real estate while I build my little empire. Not little. Let's not diminish ourselves. While I build my empire, put my imaginary crown on. Beep 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 ding shoom. Insert shine here. Ding glam bam. While I build my empire, I'm posting these videos to share my knowledge and to have as a repository when I look back years from now and can look at my growth, which I think is important. So anyway, if you like content like this, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, go to the Instagram, you know the deal. And most importantly,